Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation. I'm Blaze, bringing you guys a game between paiN Gaming and Dignitas. This is going to be an interesting best of 3 series, but we've already been going through game 1. It went really in favor of Team Dignitas, and I've been talking with Chad a little bit. I honestly think that the way the lanes were laid out were completely in favor of Dignitas. paiN Gaming just didn't know what hit them when they saw that defensive tri-lane. It's something that you should generally be able to work around, but in this case, sending the lifestealer into kind of the suicide lane / jungle, relying entirely on the lone druid to try to pull with his bear, it just didn't really play the way it needed to, and in the end it definitely went the way of Team Dignitas throughout the laning phase and throughout pretty much every phase after the fact. So interesting game 1, but yeah, it was a very convincing win, even if a bit lengthy. Team Dignitas able to take it down and move on into game 2 very effectively, so hopefully we don't have too many issues with Grant here. But pretty much what we're looking at to follow that up, we have the Wisp and the Lifestealer taken off the board. The Nyx Assassin, the Keeper Light, also banned on out. The Bat Rider is going to be first pick for Team Dignitas. Pretty interesting here, but changing their drafting style completely. They're very respectfully taking the Wisp off the board and the Lifestealer as well. And so instead they're going to draft up themselves a Rubik and a Magnus. Rubik is pretty good for stealing against Bat Rider, the Napalm, or the Lasso, but most importantly, I think they just don't want to have to deal with a Rubik if they're going to play the Magnus. So they pick up the Magnus this time around again, and also the Rubik just like last time. But this leaves open Team Dignitas to pick up 2 heroes that were first banned in the last match. Gyrocopter and Darkseer, both very great together, and it's going to be hard to deal with. Team Dignitas can easily send Darkseer in the offlane, Bat Rider in the mid, Gyrocopter in the safe line. Technically, you could run a dual core where you have a carry down bottom, Gyro in the mid, and Bat Rider in the jungle, but it would weaken their lane so much that I think they just want to run Owie on that Gyro. We'll have to see. But I definitely think that Fogged can play the Bat Rider to great effect and not really have to worry about everything else that's thrown into the mix. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Let's see what paiN has to answer back with, but I gotta say, they need to get something that can get a mech fast, just extremely quickly. The Luna is pretty solid. She generally duels with the Gyrocopter nicely, and if the Magnus is as spot on the RPs as he was last time around, she will definitely have a fighting chance here up against the Gyro. The problem with that is that Luna is very susceptible to getting picked off by the Bat. The Linked Sphere could be picked up early to try to negate the Flaming Lasso, but heroes like Gyrocopter could just homing missile it down. So generally speaking, Luna has absolutely no way of avoiding Bat Rider. Even if she picks up a BKB, the Lasso will come on through, and during that time period, Wall of Replica, Illusions, Gyrocopter's attack damage, so on and so forth, will really make it difficult for her to stay alive until she gets some big items, such as the kind of Helmet Dominator Butterfly type style. Manta style is helpful too with all the base stats it provides. Banning on out the Lone Druid, who was picked up in the last game, just don't have to deal with it. Same thing with the Shadow Demon. It wasn't really picked up with the last one, but it's one of those heroes that can control things so very well, can make situations work very well, especially for a Gyrocopter who loves to close the distance, walk up right next to a banished target, and unleash that rocket barrage. So a good ban there. I definitely think that's what they need to be taken off the board, but so many lane supports, Gyro's going to find something one way or another. Taking out the Visage as well, good ban for sure, but we'll have to see if it actually makes a difference in the long run, because again, Dignitas has so many options right now, with the only first round, actually a lot of first round supports are taken out, never mind. But either way, we see the Beastmaster taken off the board as well as the Chen, and I guess that's to, I mean, they don't have a Lifestealer coming, so I guess they want to rush the BKB on the Gyrocopter and see how that plays out. So that would be my sentiment with regards to that. Just really don't want to get locked down too hardcore in a single target sense. But it also might indicate that they want to run dual core. I mentioned that possibility, and Bat in the jungle is actually one of the faster junglers. It's just like I said, bot lane will be pretty much defenseless, being up 2 versus whatever, and paiN could make them pay for that if they get a follow-up aggressive hero.
5 seconds.
Anyways, final ban coming on out. A reserve time going to get tapped to in a moment for paiN Gaming, but they really need to pull this back. Pretty much the psychological disadvantage in this situation is now you have to fight up against 2 big matches. They have to win 2 in a row after having lost 1, and paiN is in a position where they really didn't have a single foothold in that last match. Every single step of the way they were knocked down. It wasn't just, oh, we made this mistake, we'll fix it this time around. It's, we have to rethink the entire way we're approaching this game, and obviously that's going to take some thought. They're going to actually ban out this Fen. So powerful lane support, and I don't know if it would have been run in the bottom, but you know, it's something that could be very effective there. Along with that, he can kind of semi-carry, so fills that dual core as well as high presence on the lane. Either way, taken out, doesn't matter. Now, Team Dignitas looking for the next options. I almost would see a Warlock. I could almost see a Warlock here. it would be really, really interesting if they did it, but it is one of those heroes that has a lot of power and a lot of potential that people underestimate, and Fog has been seen to run him multiple times over. But they go for the Bane, they go for the stable lane support. Still hoping for a Warlock for 5th pick, I really am, but either way, not a big deal. We're going to see baiN picked up here, and a lot of good, powerful disable. We saw it last time around. The Rubik is great at spell stealing away from it, but it's another one of those cooldowns that locks down the Luna hardcore. You enfeeble her beforehand, before the BKB, or you Fiend's Grip her after the fact. It doesn't matter. You will be able to lock her down. You just have to worry about the Rubik and the Magnus kind of disrupting you in that
10
sense.
seconds remaining.
paiN Gaming have a solid lane with Luna and Rubik together, and Magnus can go on any solo they wish, but from there, their lanes are really, really open. They still have a lot of different ways they can play it through, and I'm curious to see exactly what they're looking at. So, different options that I could easily see them picking up. They're actually going to go for the Vengeful Spirit. I was thinking maybe like a Jakiro or a Venomancer or something along those lines, but VS is great because it's an aura stack. Combining together the Lunar Blessing with the Vengeance aura allows a huge amount of right-click damage to everybody that's participating, and you're going to need that when you're fighting up against somebody that can get really, really beefy like the Gyrocopter pretty quickly by building towards that BKB. You're going to need hard physical damage, plain and simple, and Luna and Vengeful Spirit have that in loads. So if Rubik gets a spell steal off on a Fiend's Grip, sends it the direction of the Gyrocopter, and Vengeful Spirit and Luna have those kinds of auras to supplement attack damage and the Empower to boot, I really, really think that they could easily turn big engagements around, and we'll have to see how it plays out long term. Along with that, there are different ways to mess with things. The swap is pretty long range at rank 2, and you could disrupt baiN from what he's intending, but holy crap. I was wanting something interesting like a Warlock. Little did I know what Fog had in store for us. Pudge is going to get picked up here, and I honestly haven't. I've seen a lot of different professional teams pick up Pudge, but I haven't seen Dignitas run it, so maybe the chat can enlighten me. But I'm not sure who runs Pudge. Fog obviously runs the mid in general, but we'll have to see exactly who's going to be picking those up and how it's going to be lane, because I haven't seen it too much, but it's going to be interesting one way or another. So that'll be pretty fun. Definitely something that paiN Gaming didn't see coming, and they're going to have to be a little bit more contemplative about that, but they only have so much time to work with. They only have 55 seconds, and the one thing that you need versus Pudge more than anything else is wards. They have Vengeful Spirit, they have Rubik, so they're going to be in an okay position, just keeping on spamming up those wards, but they needed a mid to contest her directly, and they're going to go with Yuka on the Queen of Pain. So this will be pretty interesting, but Fog is going to pick up that Pudge, and Universe running the Darkseer as per usual, Tides on his baiN, and kind of all she wrote from there, but this is really interesting. So wave 2, most likely going to be running for a situation on, I was going to say the jungle, but it looks like they might be swapping roles where Way Too Sexy picks up the offlane and Universe goes and decides to take up the jungle himself. Very, very efficient if he can pick up that Soul Ring early. And it looks like that's pretty much definitely going to be the case since he is going for Boots of Speed immediately. Kind of a risky ploy, but if he gets up here fast enough, he can kind of jump on into these trees here and find a little nook where he can get some free experience, no problem at all. However, he doesn't have much else, no wards, no Golden Courier, no sustained regen, so he's not going to have the easiest of time fighting things back and forth. Either way, Aoi picking up his Wraithband build early on to get a lot of last hit damage, and it looks like he is setting up shop for mid. This is really, really interesting. Oh, whoa. What's even more interesting and something I didn't even catch until just now, it's already lost a half his HP. Oh, if they lose Yuka. If Yuka drops, they're in a terrible spot, but they just keep on popping salves. They are going to keep using this in power. Hey, they have the Vengeful Spirit's Wave of Terror reducing armor already, and the Lunar Blessing and Basilius to make this work. This is a very, very risky play, but they can actually come out on top with this. The bash hits, but they're okay with it. Now switching aggro over to Klotz, needs to have Yuka tank it up for the finale, but I think they're going to be able to know. Coming on in, Universe has that Iron Shell potential, will put it up, trying to get some kills here, starting off onto Billy. He's running for the life. He does get Roche. They jump to level 2. Billy is so low, but skewer back. Pata will try to keep him up for the moment. He has an Aegis, willing to die for the team to turn this around after the fact. Oh, so low. They do finish off Vengeful Spirit. The first blood goes down. Klotz is not actually going to get locked. So we do see Grant dropping low quickly, and with these Iron Shells, it's just too much damage, but nice telekinesis, keeping them active for the moment. Brain Sap, kind of limiting their celebrations there. Pata will be the second kill on board, ending up with 4 kills in return. So this was really, really effective for them. That was a triple kill for Tides of Time. He jumps up to 1,000 gold to start off with. That's, I mean, paiN Gaming did really well with the pickoff of the Roshan, get tons of gold, tons of experience for the entire team, but Now we see the gold go completely the other way immediately. They start off with a big gold advantage and then switch it over. Dignitas picking up first blood and 3 follow-up kills. Universe in a great position. Soul Ring is... Okay, he's going for bottle. But full bottle already available for him. Way Too Sexy couldn't really participate, so he's going to be sitting in a normal fashion. But now he has to be careful. Up against a level 2 Vengeful Spirit and Rubik means zoning hardcore. He does not have the potential to stay on this lane easily. And despite the cleverness of the single Roche, I think in the mid lane and the bottom lane, they're not going to be that much more in a favorable position. On top lane, huge zoning potential on Bat. He's hardly going to get to level 2. But as far as the mid to bottom, it's going to go generally in favor of Dignitas, and that was kind of set in stone from the beginning. So, really, really interesting play, and did not expect it at all. Looking at their lineup, it didn't even look like a great lineup for it. I mentioned the Aura Cleave, which I picked up one of which at the beginning. But in general, it's definitely not what I expected. Either way, they pulled it out. They were able to get the Roche kill at the very least, but it just, as far as the kills, you have to be questioning whether or not it was worth it. Thog is still getting his free farm there, going to get some nice levels on his hook quickly and make sure he's mobile and active to just jump in the thick of things and try to get some pretty pro skill shots off. You see Batrider dueling it out with Grent, and they're actually going to go for some big damage here, trying to pull him back with the telekinesis despite that Firefly. The Lucent Beam helping out. One more right click from both is going to be enough. They're going to be able to finish him off. Rubik getting a kill there and helping out their support experience even more. You generally don't see a level 3 at 2 minutes in as far as supports go, but Grant and Billy pulling it out, so they're doing in a great spot, moving on forward. But we do note that Billy is ranking up his magic missile. Not that great of scaling as far as its stun duration or any utility aspects, but it's good for ganks just for that big burst of damage up front. It's kind of like ranking Gush on Tide. It's not very common because it's not specifically oriented towards actually dishing out the damage and the purpose of picking that hero, which in the case of Vengeful Spirit is bonus damage and armor reduction. But for ganks, it's going to be very nice. Owie, making a bit of a mistake there, taking 2 auto attacks. Yuka in a pretty good position to pursue on that and make sure that Owie's forced back. Luckily, he does have that salve, and now a full bottle to work with here. But up on top, we do see this tower dropping down below half HP. Plots is going to fall back from here because the Universe has arrived with a Surge, with a rank 2 Ion Shield. Wants to play a little bit of chicken, but is not going to get an opportunity really because essentially Universe can't go, even at level 5, he is still pretty limited going up against these 3. Huge right click damage still, especially when Vengeance Aura comes out. But for right now, Universe is going to try to hold the line and play Suicide Darkseer like he's used to. I mean, this is pretty much how I thought things would start off, and it makes a lot of sense. With Way 2 having such a hard time, he's happy to have gotten level 3. Now he can stack up the neutrals really, really extensively and go for some fast jungle times, but he just had a hard time in the top lane, especially with his Observer Ward, helping out zoning even further. So I understand why they make this transition, and I think it's the best move they could have gone for. Pada in a pretty bad spot himself, trying to go for this cliffing thing where he jumps up on here and tries to farm up creeps very aggressively with that Empower, but we'll have to see how it plays out. It's not exactly the most reliable. There are situations where you can put in, and you can actually, I think I've seen one member of their team or on 3D Clans lineup, but either way, trying to set it up and instead they just die to neutrals because they screwed themselves over, but either way. Interesting plays here. We do see these neutrals pulled, and Universe is going to be able to clean this up no problem at all. This is a lot of experience he wouldn't normally be getting, and I think it's a really good move for him to pick that up. On top, we see Gyrocopter getting that rune and heading up to gank a little bit aggressively. He could maybe find the Magnus out. Just starting off with that haste with rank 1 Rocket Barrage, trying to go for Billy. They do get the Magic Missile to start things off, but Universe pulling him back in with the vacuum. Too much damage coming out, and he's going to be completely shredded in no time at all, putting another kill on the board for Dignitas. Bottle and other options coming out for Yuka. Pretty much just picking up boots on top of that. Actually should probably send it back in my opinion to make sure you actually get all the benefit from that single trip, but you know, what can you do? Either way, now we do see pressure coming out from Fog down on bottom. He has a rank 3 hook available. Good range on that, so I'm curious to see when it will first connect. But one thing to mention is that they did hand a Rubik to the enemy when they picked up this Pudge, which Rubik is, Pudge is one of the funnest heroes to play up against as Rubik. If they don't toggle their rot with every single hook, you're going to be able to spell steal that hook eventually, and it's such a great spell to throw in the other direction. With no animation delay, you can land some pretty pro skill shots yourself and put some damage out there. Speaking of, Yuku in mid lane is kind of trying to pressure Owie. Doesn't think he's going to dive, but with the action from Tides of Time, easy Fiend's Grip coming on through, and that's a nice kill. 3 versus 1 on this Queen of Pain here. Batrider farming up the jungle. How's his stack looking? It looks like he's just been clearing out the camps more so than worrying about the stack timing, which might be a mistake. Way too reducing his jungle time, jungle rate, I suppose, pretty dramatically in that sense. Now finding some high ground vision. Tides of Time is going to have some understanding of Bidley's position. Starts off with the Nightmare, but I'm not sure exactly what the mindset here is. They have the pinks coming on through, but it looks like he's just going to go for the TP. They don't have a vacuum, and they don't have any way to clear it out now because of that Nightmare. I really feel that Tide just dropping that down at that exact moment was a bit of a waste. There's nothing prompting him to do that. So, either way, an unforced issue that they were unfortunately not able to pick off the Magnus in, but he's just going to head back towards bottom lane, along with two of his companions, Yuka and Grent. paiN is in another position where, even with a level 1 Roshan, they are scrambling from the beginning. They are trying to just control their lanes, and every single one is being lost right now. The top lane is okay, the last hits on Luna are fine, but she's not going to be able to make much out of that for a long time. Nice telekinesis and the Sonic Wave to finish it off, and it's going to be the pickoff on Way Too Sexy, but I don't know, they committed a lot to that. They committed an ultimate, they committed 3 heroes that are now practically out of mana, and they're, like I said, they don't have really any sustained control of the lanes. Looking for a hook on Yuka. He does have the hook range, just looking for the opportunity. She has that blink, tries to dodge it out up the hill, but surging in range, and the Dismember will come out to clean her. No, hook to go right there. Actually does get dodged to the south. Nice maneuver. Yuka in a pretty bad spot now. I think you can throw him up on that cliff, but either way, not really going for that. Just fogged in Universe. Unfortunately for them, missing a kill on Yuka. Back to KDA, we see that the triple kill from paiN started things off. He's now picked up 2 assists for himself, and from there, Darkseer was participating a lot. Universe started off with 3 assists, and now has 2 kills for himself, and actually, he might have started off with 1 kill, and I don't know, it doesn't matter. Either way, smoke coming out from Fog and Tides. This is one of those things that you have to worry about constantly when a really good pudge, when a competitive level pudge comes out, is these smoke ganks, is these opportunities where they go in and they're like, okay, well, even if you have wards, like, the one thing to counteract a pudge is knowing where he's at, when he's going to hook you. But if you just smoke on in, as soon as they catch vision of Luna, Klotz wisely moving to the east. But either way, Fogged is just biding his time, waiting for a good opportunity. Luckily for them, it seems that paiN have a good understanding of the enemy's position in general, just based on the fact that they disappeared off the map very, very suddenly. So, smoke, the Universe is visible, and they're going to go for the hook. They landed on a neutral creep instead, though, and it's going to be Klotz still in an okay position from here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So Surge coming on in, looking for the Fiend's Grip, trying to get it, but the range is just out. They're going to get fogged out and just have to walk away. Man, they committed. Again, this is another situation of 3 heroes committing so much time, so much effort to burn somebody down, and instead they're just kind of disrupting his farm for a bit. There was, I mean, the kill down bottom was very effective, but it's not really changing things. It's not really putting one hero back in the game. Now we're putting pressure on top tower with the Flacken, and he can just push to his heart's content, and that's exactly what he's been accomplishing thus far. Currently sitting at 48 CS, topping out against the Luna, and continuing to put damage onto this tower. Looks like Billy might want to look for a fortification deny, but has to time it very, very carefully here, as Aoi just has so much right-click comparatively. They go for the TPN from the Luna, going out through the call down comes, and are they going to get the kill? Jarkov gets the kill on the tower, but does fall himself, committing the Eclipse, getting a solo kill on the gyro, but then losing the tower. I gotta say, it still goes in favor of Dignitas in this situation. The gold is just, the numbers don't lie there. They're gonna get tons of money on their supports and on their team in general. Looks like a Fiend's Grip coming out on Queen of paiN. They're going to get a solo pick off here, no problem at all. Committing the lasso just to make sure, but that is 2 ultimates as well. So, similar exchange, but no tower to come out. And they do actually use, with this Observer Ward up on the plateau, an opportunity to go for another kill. Klotz is fast, but just how quick is he? Going past the creep wave, he could have gone for that hook, but Fog not willing to commit. Just using a super, super large amount of AoE damage through the Iron Shell and Rot to creep skip up. But either way, just controlling this position here. Is he going to bottle crow from across the map? No, he's just kind of trading it back and forth. Anyways, but yeah, it's just pretty interesting how this has kind of played out thus far. They're kind of penning them in, just like they were in the last game, but instead of happening at 20 to 25 minutes, they're doing it at the 9-minute mark. Now, Dismember on Grent, no Spell Steal coming online for him anytime soon. And they have full control. Like I said, the Flat Cannon, Iron Shell, Rot, great stuff here. Yuka looking for a good opportunity. Hook does get missed, and Fog is going to get dropped down. Vengeful Spirit taking the kill for that. Pada taking too much, but gets the reverse polarity, swaps in the Magnus out of that spot, but the homing missile closing in. Will it be enough? I don't think so, but connecting, not even. Nightmare comes out on Klotz. They walk away from here, but that did cost them Fog, and a TP comes in. Grant looking for a kill. Universe will be able to just walk away. So, in the end, they do get the kill on the Pudge, who was at the top highest level. I guess that's kind of a misnomer, as we have what, 6 level 8 heroes in this game. Nobody really just triumphing over one another. They're really kind of equal out to an extent, but either way, getting heal on a Pudge is definitely going to help them as far as gaining momentum, but they're only right now halting what Dignitas already had in mind. They feel very comfortable with what they've been doing, and unless they start going for more and more D wards like this, it's going to be difficult for them because observers are everywhere. One in the mid lane, one up on the top rune spawn, one on the plateau, and even down here where the Ancients are farming. They have full understanding of where Klotz is farming, where anybody is trying to get a little bit of extra gold, and they're taking advantage of that. Right now, Tides of Time in a pretty bad spot, but still feels comfortable despite Vengeful Spirit swap. So we see Klotz moving on in. He does have that Eclipse up in 18 seconds, but only enough mana for just one spell for the moment.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Universe bringing pressure down on bottom. This will be enough to give him his mechanism. Actually, pretty much anything will at this stage, and that's going to make sure that he can teamfight that much more aggressively, especially with Pudge hurting himself as much as the enemy with that rot. It's going to be... Oh, actually, didn't catch that. Not even checking exactly where it was. It was a swap, a stun, and a presumably Lucent Beam, or maybe not even. Either way, they did get the pick off onto the Bane. Tides of Time was just a little bit too overextended. He does this a lot. Last time around on that Bane, he was always in the enemy's jungle, and now they're starting to fight back. They're getting some wards up, getting a little bit more control over their positions, and they made him pay for it. But he's gotten so much gold so early on that he could care less. Arcane Boots, Magic Wand, all he needs. So right now, wow, that was a big... very, very ambitious hook, at the very least. It's just really, really wishful thinking that he could be super duper pro, but no, it's just not going to go his way. But, you know, if it landed, it would have been the coolest thing on the planet, so, you know. Either way, got to go for those sometimes. It just wasn't as feasible as he would have hoped it would be. Pada has that reverse polarity, looking for an opportunity down here, then can skewer them together pretty well, but Aoi doing some easy single target damage, Pada having to jump away. Fog gets that dismember off, call down, going on 2, nice Fiend Grip, going on to Magnus, he's going to drop as well. Easy, easy pick outs. The Blink is up on way 2. He goes for the Blink Lasso, pulls it into Grent, and he's going to be able to bring him down as well, most likely. They just need a little bit. The Napalm Slow should be enough. With the Barrage and Brain Sap coming up, that's enough to bring down Grent. However, down on bottom, Yoka is able to get a 1v1 on Pudge. Uses that Sonic Wave, goes for the Blink TP, and almost gets it. Holy crap, way 2 secs. That Blink, that Flame Break, perfect action from way 2. Oh my gosh, that was really good. Yeah, I did the projectile time. He's like, that's too slow. I have vision of him because Firefly's active, but I want to get as close as possible. So blinks and flame breaks immediately, getting that last second of the TP canceled out. Queen of Pain committed that ulti, got the Pudge, but didn't get out without her life being dropped down as well. Klotz just trying to find farm somewhere, getting a TP scroll just to make sure of things. But look at that net worth. That is Gyrocopter sitting at about like 30%. Greater value in gold and items and everything, and that's just kind of goes to show how much free time he's been able to farm and how many kills he's been able to participate. 1, 1, and 4 compared to Luna's 1, 1, and 2. Just a couple extra assists and a pretty much equivalent value as far as last hits have been really going his way. One thing to mention though is I don't think I've seen Gyrocopter farm an easy camp once, whereas Luna has farmed at least 2, if not 3 or 4 of those easy camps. The jungle creeps are not going to give you nearly as much gold, so despite the last hits being roughly equivalent, you can see a very, very big difference in gold. Tides of Time picked off once again. Pretty much no hope for him at all. So, I'm not exactly sure what Tides is doing. I've seen this before from him, and it's just, it's kind of one of those things where he loves to play aggressively, he loves to make those great initiation plays, but if they have an understanding of your positioning, they can make you pay for it easily, and Vengeful Spirit is just here to do that, really, really is. Fog looking to hook some creeps, find Rubik out, looking for some action there. He does almost get it, so close, right vector, just not the magnitude, just shy of getting the hook on the Rubik, and instead just fall back from there. Pressure up on top. Deny will come on through from Aoi 2000, taking more gold off the board, so that paiN doesn't really have that chance to rebound. Doesn't really get the opportunity to, come back from this. It's pretty much what they're trying to do. They're not only trying to control the game now, but in the long-term future. Fog going in, gets Pada, gets an opportunity there, and the Dismember will disrupt everything. They actually do get a steal on the Dismember, but that's not going to be contribute too much. Way 2 with that lasso pulling him out of the Eclipse, but the Lucent Beam connects. Way 2 does drop down. The buyback from Pada, he wants some vengeance, wants to go for that RP, doesn't want to commit it on one hero though, and instead just going to go for a easy solo kill on Tides once again. Nice hook though, pulling it out of, oh my gosh. He does end up getting that RP, but the damage from Universe, that big Ion Shell and Vacuum, is getting at least one revenge kill. However, they're still fighting without their damage dealers. They're fighting without the gyrocopter. And even though Batrider, I believe, yeah, he bought back, but there's no way he could have gotten into the fight that quickly. So, fighting out of position, the RP helped out quite a bit, and when that Sonic Wave came on through, they were able to clean it up nicely. So, double damage Highway 2000, where are you at, man? He needs to be in the fight. He needs to really, really synergize with the ultimates that are coming out, the disables that are happening from Dignitas, because if Aoi was there, it would have been a full team wipe in the other direction, but instead, they use a buyback on the Bane, they get picked off on 2 or 3 other heroes, and it's just not exactly where they needed to be at the time. As far as levels go, Luna is actually top dog for the moment. Klotz hitting level 12, trying to move in towards something bigger and better, but it looks like BKB is going to be the big course of action here. The problem with that is there are literally 3 ultimates that'll go right on through BKB. There's this member, oh, nice swap on Tides. Once again in a bad spot, nice Nightmare. Perfect Nightmare dodging the magic missile, giving enough time for them to try to follow through. Rain Sap Tides is back up to full, and now trying to bring down Billy, but the hook lands onto Brent, finishing him off no problem at all. Now pursuing with the long-range Fiend's Grip onto Vengeful Spirit. They pick off Billy as well. And from there, the 2 others are just going to be running for their lives, just pretty much have no control over this situation, and that's very unfortunate for them. Now, one thing I was going to mention, yeah, this is not really a BKB kind of game. Luna going for it, and I understand she needs HP, but she's up against a Dismember, a Flaming Lasso, and a Fiend's Grip. That's just, there's no way that she can keep her DPS going, and I don't really think there's any real solution to that, unfortunately, but it's kind of wishful thinking that you'll ever be able to just straight up auto-attack in the middle of a fight. Popping off an Eclipse and surviving is pretty much your best option, and I could see Manta style being more effective in what they're trying to accomplish here. Either way, that's just pretty much one of those tough situations. When Dignitas drafts such a hardcore single-target disable team, you have to do something. You have to try to commit to something big, and with the Aquila, Wand, Drum, and soon-to-be BKB, Luna will be able to have enough HP to survive through generally 1 disable if she's not being focused too hardcore. Fog looking for a Surge Hook, not going to get it. He just keeps on doing that all day long. They need to get some wards up in here. I guess the Walking Ward, way too sexy, will provide a little bit of vision there, but long term, not a big deal. I don't even know. Initiation coming out in, way too sexy, pulling out. There's the hook to follow it up. Billy is going to get locked down, but same thing with way too. Another bad spot for him. Grant still not getting a spell steal off though. Looking for something, not really getting an opportunity. But with that RP, they're all clustered up, looking for a big opportunity, but just forcing them back with a shockwave for the moment. Needs to really, really find the right window of opportunity. Instead, hook on the racks, ripping that building out of the ground and bringing it to Dignitas to take down outside the base. But anyways, tower and bottom gonna get dropped down to creeps alone. Big misplay by Dignitas. They don't need to give that kind of gold away, and it gives this just those small windows of opportunity. The door is creaking further and further open for paiN to try to come back from this. They're gonna get some survivability in the Rubik. He already has 1,700 gold. Could go for a Ghost Scepter or just finish up a drum of his own if they don't already have one. Luna does have one. That's kind of irrelevant, but even so. Pada looking for that Blink Dagger long term, about 1,100 gold before he can pick that up there, and on top of that, the Queen of paiN just needs something, anything at all. There's so many different ways you could build her at this stage in the game, but literally any item would be better than what she's got. But that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I mean, the BKB, if that's a course of action for Klotz, is going to be a long time coming, and it's just a desperate situation of desperation. Roche is completely in control of Dignitas. They can take that any time they want, I believe. Lifesteal would help out Gyrocopter a little bit, but always a little too ambitious for that. Wants to go for the Butterfly, all out, and see how that plays out. I hope it's not a Ethereal Blade. I've seen that before on Gyro. It's pretty monstrous, but I think they need to at least take this game slightly. At least if like 2 of their players take this game fully seriously, they still have such an advantage that they'll be able to go on through this nicely. But I don't know. They've just Way2 has been jumping in. He's been getting a couple of pickoffs here and there, but every single time it gets turned around on the telekinesis, the lucent beams, magic missiles, all that good stuff makes it so that there's really no way for him to escape as he needs to. He goes in aggressive and then pays for it with his life every single time. That's why, despite his team's advantage, he's sitting at 1, 4, and 6. And that's going to keep happening if he keeps on playing that way. So we're at another stalemate. This is not exactly the best thing to cast, but pretty much what we're looking at is that Dignitas is just forcing the issue on the base, making sure the lanes are all pushed out, making sure that the only farm that Luna is able to get is what walks to her in the lane. But one thing to mention is that she's actually being a little bit more aggressive than that, knowing with some good dire ward action that there are other people about. This is dire vision right here. They understand that there are people roaming the jungle, and we actually see impossible engagement. Despite not having the Luna available, they go for the swap on the Pud, trying to pick him off, but he's so darn beefy. Instead, the wall in the vacuum, big play by Universe, and they're kind of skewing away, but to not really any great effect. The Eclipse comes on through, doing some damage, finishing off Fog, but they already lost the mag. No reverse polarity in this fight, and Yuka not willing to commit the Sonic Wave all just yet. Everybody's back up to full, and now they're going to go in with the Flaming Lasso onto Grent, finishing him off no problem. And although Yuka might be able to blink on out, they really can't control this position here. They force the TP back from the Luna, put some damage into the main base, and they'll be able to get some hits on the tower. I don't think they'll be able to kill it if the Magnus is able to TP in, but still getting a few hits here and there will be able to poke and prod their way to victory if they can. As soon as this tier 3 drops, the high ground will be much more in their hands. So it looks like Yules for Bane. Pada looking to try to close some distance here and maybe try to go for a little bit of a sneak Roche. Right now, looking for an opportunity onto Tides. Blink and Skewer. Oh, no, he doesn't blink. I don't know why I thought he did. Tides getting RP'd on down, committing one major ultimate. Means that they cannot follow up with a Roshan in my mind, but it looks like they're willing to try for it. They pretty much are in a desperation mode, and they're like, okay, well, if we have to, then we might as well. But the big issue there is Luna being completely separated from the team, and of course having no map vision. I don't apparently have map vision either, as they just feel like drawing smiley faces across it. But anyways, yeah, Dignitas looking for an easy opportunity, and even without lifesteal, Aoi with that double damage can do some big damage into Roche without losing too much here. Grant gonna miss, and instead it's gonna be just Aoi right-clicking away. I think he can still manage it. He's micromanaging his positioning really well. Good attack animation cancel, but it's really about luck. It's about the evasion and making sure that he doesn't get too many hits, doesn't get bashed up from the Roche there. We see Yoka spreading out, looking for long-term that Scythe of Ice. The question is whether or not that's going to be an option whatsoever, as now with his Aegis the Immortal up on the gyro, as well as that butterfly, there's not too much they can do to really contest him directly. If they go for a 5-man push on mid, even with a solid reverse polarity, which is not going to be available for another minute because it was used on the Bane, I think that Dignitas really have an easy opportunity to just jump on this no problem. Hovering around 10k, a little bit of oscillation, but we do see 6k advantage on the experience as well. So it's just kind of going that direction. Luna has to pull out something big and does have a BKB, but like I said, it has its limitations.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So looking for more opportunities. Way 2 with that Ion Shell going on in the base, but gets telekinesis up. The magic missile, much burst, and that's just feeding away. Don't even get the hook off, so they're going to take the tower pretty quickly with the Sonic Wave and the RP on cooldown still, but it's, you know, Way 2 is just kind of trolling around right now. He's feeding his life away as a distraction mechanism, and it can only accomplish so much with Luna actually getting the opportunity to freely push outside the base. They're losing another tier 2 tower that they don't have to. They finally take high ground, finally get to tier 3, get a hook onto Billy, vacuum on in, and he's going to get destroyed immediately by the Ion Shell rot damage, but they can't take the fight up top. With Klotz having jumped on back, even with this homing missile, they're going to be okay. Nice hook out of the Nightmare. Forgot to mention that combo all game long, apparently. But going out in, Pada gets a double reverse polarity. There is a Blade Mail up on one of them, though. Doesn't want to follow up too hardcore. Here's the Fiend's Grip on Klotz. The right-click damage is insane from the Gyrocopter, but he's not focusing too hard. The Eclipse comes out, looking for more, but it's just hitting on creeps mostly. Aoi dropping low, but still has the Aegis. And Yuka dueling it out with him for a bit of a mistake, actually. Actually going to be able to finish him off with one more right-click here. The damage over time, not even getting the first kill on the gyro, let alone the second. So, Pada out of cooldowns, everybody out of mana. Bane, buy back in. They get the long-range shockwave off on the Gyrocopter, but it just pops off that Aegis. And now they're going to go for the racks. No problem at all. Melee going to fall. And that's very unfortunate for them, of course. They've been trying to hold this for a very long time, but I'm kind of surprised Aoi doesn't want to contest this directly. I mean, he's getting a lot of long-range damage coming forth, so that's pretty understandable. But I feel with the call down, they could at least bring this down to almost no HP at all. But here we go, the call down going down on, they get the hook. Billy's going to drop entirely, but a nice little play by Grant. Just interrupts the dismember, and despite this blade mail, they're going to be able to burst him down. However, trying to focus down these racks, Aoi is going to be able to take it, and Universe is not the target of choice. He just has too much HP, and they can walk away from this. Tides maybe not so much, but they'll try. Hook's technically available, but no mana means that Grant is just going to walk away here. Actually jumping in, Tides, again, with that really initiation. And I was going to say it was questionable, but the timing of it, where they can communicate and coordinate, means that they're going to get profit out of that in the way of bringing down Magnus. So, nice pick off by Way Too Sexy, and kind of making that Batrider pick very worth the while, despite the other awesome initiations. Aoi picking up regen. He just has to get a Dominator, and he can pretty much do whatever he wants. That's my perspective anyways. But it looks like he might want to go. Yeah, he's going for Reaver first. So maybe a Morbid Mask on top of that. It's still a good percentage of regeneration and a lot of static health to work with. Either way, looking at items, is anything happening in terms of paiN Gaming? Do they have anything to bounce them back? They have a Force Staff on Rubik. That's what he was saving up for. As far as the Queen of paiN, sitting at only 700 gold means the Scythe is not going to be an option. So really, all they have going for them now is this pickup of the Blink Dagger on Magnus. They have this available. They've had it available for a little bit here and there. But the important thing is if he can get a gigantic rank 2 reverse polarity, while Luna has that Yasha who can pop off a drum charge and deal some hard right-click damage that way. I definitely think it's viable. I definitely think they can still try to hold this. It's just they're at such a disadvantage, and the momentum continually pushing in towards the mid is not going to really help paiN out of this situation. They're definitely still in the woods, and with if they lose another Roche, then they pretty much have lost the game in my mind. Gyrocopter picking up that Morbid Mask, gonna get some lifesteal here and there, but Universe walking right up to Klotz. That Eclipse damage too much for him. He's gonna get locked down before the pipe or mech can come out, and now that team fight is pretty much just a wash for Dignitas. They have to fall back without any of one of those healing utilities. They just really can't handle it, and they're gonna fall back. How are we going to be able to finish that Satanic in no time at all? Finally farming up his own jungle. What is going on here? That is...
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Yeah. Not even going to comment on that. I don't even know. So we see the Yule is going to be coming up for baiN in a moment, but I really feel that if Dignitas keeps on taking this game so lightly, they're going to be actually fighting up against a little bit too much more than they can handle. Luna is still a great late game carry. Magnus is still a powerful initiator. If they can get more pickoffs like they did, then they can do so much here. Aoi trying to duel it out, but gets big swap. Vengeful Spirit with that rank 2 swap brings down Gyrocopter, no problem at all. He can do nothing in this situation but fall. And without a BKB, 4 versus 1, they're finally able to get this kill and end his mega kill spree. That's a lot. I mean, he's a level 16 hero. Spread among those supports. They gets the net worth lockdown, and from there they can TP up, heal up, and defend their top tier 3. Nice hook attempt, but Fog not finding his window of opportunity. Instead, just kind of holding the line here, and Tides of Dota. Tides of Time has to fall back from here. There's no way that they can actually make something happen with all these supports raring to go. Stealing the hook, he didn't. Oh, he toggle rock. Good job for him. But still, Pada missing that. Skewer is going to make it so that they don't really have to worry about their positioning. Just have to wait for this Gyrocopter. TikTok, he is waiting to respawn and waiting to actually be able to participate more actively. Still plenty of time on that Roshan. 4 full minutes. So, Yule's finally up for baiN, I think mostly through incidental gold over time. But either way, Tides of Time is going to be able to take that to the bank and use it for more aggressive initiation. Set up hooks. You can actually, assuming Dota 1 is still active like Dota 2. Oh, nice blink. Nice action from Way Too Sexy. Able to pull out of there despite a bad spot, but the telekinesis goes away. The hook is unsuccessful. Universe has to commit his mech and his pipe, as well as dissuade them with a wall of replica. They want to go for more a little bit here and there. They go for the lasso, pulling Magnus right back into the wall. He is completely locked down, can't even get that RP off, and now Billy is the next target in mind. Tides still has all his cooldowns available, going for the Rubik presumably, but changes focus to Billy, who was on the run for a long time, but not going to be fortunate enough to scroll on out of there. So pushing on, they can go for the top lane. The wave is pushed pretty neatly to take down this tier 3 pretty quickly. But either way will work. They're going to go for the range racks to start things off and make their transition as soon as the creep wave hits, which now that that's up there, the backdoor protection is not going to be a factor. But they're doing some more base dive action for the moment. Satanic will be up in any time period, and from there, Aoi can pretty much go 1 versus 3. He can handle any one of the supports, even during an RP, as long as they don't have to worry about the huge burst of that Eclipse. That Eclipse plus Manta Style is really the only thing that is scaring him off, but soon that won't even be that prevalent of an issue. Grant gets nightmared up, could go for the hook on him. Anyways, there's going to be some defense, forcing them back for the moment. But I was trying to say, there's a combo with Yules that works very similar to how the Nightmare works. Actually hooking him on down into the Eclipse. He's BKB'd up, so he's dishing out a lot of damage, but the Dismember disabling for the moment. Nice action from Pada. Didn't skewer them up, though. Had to skewer down to get to it. Instead, just dealing that damage. There's some buybacks coming out from the Rubik. Fog on the run, gets the kill on Klotz. Nice hook coming out from him. Trying to follow up. Yoka taking some hits. Aoi doing a lot of damage to Pada, but gets thrown out of the base. Billy using a very nice way of escape, and now just goes on the run, but big damage coming out from that flat cannon using the surge. Attack animation canceling, picks up his satanic, he's ready to pop it, needs to pop it now, gets so much lifesteal from this, quick right clicks, he gets it, and he gets skewered back into the fountain, and he's gonna drop down. Can't lifesteal that much, but instead they're distracting from the tower taking damage, soon to be the racks. But yet again, another kill on this level 17 gyrocopter. Every single time he drops is very, very painful for them. So, in the end, paiN making, I would have to say, somewhere near the best of a bad situation. They did get hooked on Luna, but he did deal some damage, survive for quite some time with the help of Pada, using that skewer to get in position and counter-initiate effectively. Now looking for another opportunity, blinking and skewering, but had to cancel it out as he didn't get the vector right. Yules comes on through defensively for the paiN, and they actually try to hook it, but nice skewer timing. Holy crap, that was good for Pada. I don't think it was intended to time exactly like that, but interrupting the hook, and Fog, it seems like he's by himself with the wall replica. Universe is in the front lines, going for Yuka, who is lassoed up, easy pickoff. Now Grent's the last target of choice, going for that big napalm, and the flame break only going to do so much here. Without a force staff, he's not going to be able to escape long term. So this turns it around very nicely, and quick final pickoff to go for a 3 kill for 2 in exchange, while just 1. With the gyro still having been down for quite a while. Looking for more on Way Too Sexy versus Klotz. Doesn't get the hook though, and Way Too is once again in a pretty bad spot. Force Staffs tries to jump out of the map, but to no avail. He gets 1v1 down, while Universe just gives a little bit of a facepalm towards these racks. Just give a couple quick auto attacks, a couple quick right clicks, but nothing really coming of it long term. So again, they've taken down 2 racks, they've taken down a tier 3, but they're not stealing the deal. The gold difference hasn't really been changing in favor of Dignitas anymore. They've come to a halt, and as silly as it may be, they could still be throwing away a lot of opportunities here. Reverse polarity times 2, or sorry, rank 2 times 2 would definitely be a lot more powerful. But anyways, rank 2 available for this Roche, and if they could get it with a little bit of smoke action, maybe something reminiscent of what they tried to do at level 1, minus a couple of 4 kills in the other team's favor, I think they could really pull forward. But it looks like Aoi is perfectly fine to, with his lifesteal, with his butterfly, do it by himself. From there though, if they initiate it up on top, Universe, although he has most of his cooldowns, his wall is just now coming back up. And if they initiated, if paiN jumped on out with Aoi not here, they could have easily taken them all down, but it looks like Dignitas won't give them that opportunity. Just heading back to make sure that they can get some nice experience, as well as some cheese from the Roshan. Is that a Boots of Travels? No, just going to TP back. Luna's been running that way for a long while, but, just committing a little bit of damage, a little bit of push with these Manta-style illusions. Bringing down towards the tower, but it's just not going to really make them rethink what they're accomplishing here with the Roche and with the follow-up team fight, and try to push him for the win. If Aoi picks up this Aegis here, he is unkillable. The Satanic, the Butterfly, they have to commit 5 heroes to him twice over if they're going to be able to actually bring him down. He's just so darn big. He's going for Divine Rapier. I mean, could go for Daedalus, I suppose. MKB as well. But, at this position with a Satanic, a Butterfly, and an Aegis, it feels like a Divine Rapier game. Either way, we'll see. Hook still available on Rubik. Grent's going to look for an opportunity, but even if he gets the hook, what does he accomplish? He pulls them into a bunch of buffer buildings and no real backup for his allies. Once again, Klotz pushing out the waves that really Dignitas needs to contest directly if they want to be able to push him for the win. But for right now, just going for an opportunity to get a hook off onto Rubik, get it out effectively, but the Force Staff kind of nullifies that positional advantage. Killing some money buildings. Aoi farming up away. He's going to move in towards a 590 GPM, but I don't think he's really worried about his farm right now. Just wants to push in towards these racks that have lost their backdoor protection. Very fortunately for him, Klotz coming back on in though, forcing him out, and the protection should be restored in a moment. Aoi clearing up the creep wave. It's not back up just yet. I don't know if these creeps are just a little bit too close. We'll see. Either way, Way Too Sexy looking for his opening. Wants to give the lasso on Klotz. Wants to pull him out of position. And in a moment, that might be an option. But right now, Grent getting the hook off on Aoi. Getting those disables up hardcore. But with the Yules, he can't follow up with that reverse polarity. Now going in triple polarity coming out of Pada. Big damage across, but the Queen of Pain ulti already expired. Pudge gets the big hook going across. Klotz lassoed up, too much damage. Big wall. Vacuum going on through, too much damage going across. Klotz will fall. And they pop off the buyback on the Luna. This is their last stand, their last chance. But with Aoi still having 1 full HP life available, they can easily finish this off. Backdoor protection is back up, though. They have to focus the racks or the Luna, not either or. And it looks like they're just dilly-dallying a little bit too long, not getting the damage in. And in this entire exchange, they didn't get damage on the racks. No permanent damage here. And now Aoi is going to go in 1 versus 3. Nice hook onto Klotz. They have the Dismember up again. Wants to actually surge up to it, but it gets immediately telekinesis. Nice action there. And still, they do have backdoor protection off now. Can go for the racks. The mid creeps nullifying that there, and it looks like it might be enough to bring it down, but they have to act quickly. Very quickly indeed. Call down still available, just as the deterrent. Doing some damage to Yuka, but it gets stolen and can be thrown in the other direction. There is a fortification up on the racks. Can go for a big call down with Klotz doing some big DPS, but with that flat cannon hitting the racks, hitting the Luna, now getting skewered back on in, he might die again. Looking for just a little bit more damage, but he gets force-staffed away. Fog gets mini stunned up and is in a terrible spot. He will fall, but they at least got the gyrocopter out, barely. With actually only 500 HP. They are going to clean up on Universe, possibly? Hard to say, but it looks like with the Surge, he should be able to escape on out of there. Oh my gosh, they gave him a cheese. They gave Aoi a cheese, and he is raring to go, back up to full life. And even Pudge jumping in on the action. No boots of travels, but he's raring to go. Aoi back in the action, hitting the racks, and subsequently killing off the Rubik just through flat cannon damage. That's pretty ridiculous there. Either way, finish off the racks. They have 4 heroes in here, as well as bringing in another one of the couriers. They have 3 different people buying couriers, because they're all Golden Roshans and Wormelians, and I don't even know. But way too sexy, having a little bit too much fun with this game, if that's possible. Either way, tier 4s, next target, and paiN calls a good game. This was game 2 in this best of 3 series. It's been pretty ridiculous, all over the place, back and forth, but in the end, it's going to go for Dignitas. They've had this pretty long advantage, and although a long battle for it, kind of for more reasons than one. Oh, more couriers. They got their own army of couriers here too, so that's pretty interesting. But anyways, Dignitas taking game 2 of this best of 3 series. That takes them the match and makes sure that they don't have to go on to game 3. So what we're looking at to follow up is it's event, or I guess a feature that we call it. It's called Ask the Pros, and it's essentially a post-match interview with one of the players here. I'm probably going to put Aoi on the line, but we'll see exactly who we're going to get. And the point to take away from that is that I'll ask him some questions about how he felt the game went, how he felt the matches went in general, and then give you guys the opportunity to ask him questions indirectly. You guys will, if you're on the Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/the Premier League, that's where the interview will be, and that's also the chat channel that you can put questions in for him. So, like I said, it might be Aoi, it might be a different member of Dignitas, but either way, this was a very funny, lulzy game, kind of going back and forth, but in the end, Dignitas does take it, and if you guys are interested in the post-match interview, Ask the Pros will be on in just a few minutes on the stream, twitch.tv/the Premier League. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was fun to cast for you guys. We had a little bit of issues getting started, a few delays from the players, but they all ended up getting in, generally speaking, and had some fun games for us, even if they weren't exactly the most, nail-biter.